Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Calculating the Annual Percentage Rates of ETFs. And I'm your host, Dr. B. This is episode number 5, recorded on August 24th, 2024. Now, some people are wondering, why am I called Dr. B? Well, I was inspired by many students down here in the Gulf Coast of Florida, where I'm a substitute teacher. I come in and teach a lesson, and the students realize, wow, he knows how to teach a lesson. Yes, that's based upon 25 years of teaching mathematics in the state of New Jersey from 1993 until I retired in 2018. And I taught anywhere from general math up until pre-calculus and financial literacy. Investors with SoCal Gold firm lose their retirement savings. You have to be careful on what you invest in. If you're investing on your own, you have to do research on individual firms. I don't particularly invest in individual stocks, and I've lost money in the past investing in what's called a K1, or I should say a limited partnership. Limited partnerships will give out their K1s in late March. That's a tax document that must be filed on by April 15th when you do your taxes. Don't ever invest in limited partnerships. They could cost you a lot of money, and depends how much you invest in. So please look at this video, do it right now, or just click on it later, go back and watch the video later, and then see for yourself. You should only invest with a certified financial planner. A certified financial planner helped get my life around after I lost a lot of money in a limited partnership. And now I feel confident where I can invest on my own. So many of the investments that I present to you, especially during the first 4 episodes of Calculating the Annual Percentage Rates of ETFs, are my own personal investments. However, there is a safer investment here, or instead of investing in gold on your own. This is, but before we get to that, this is your Vanguard Total Index. They invest 2.24% in base materials and only 3.84% in energy. So why are investors taking such a high risk investing in gold portfolio funds when Vanguard says, okay, we're only going to do 6.8%, 08% in basic materials and in energy? There is a safer alternative, and that is the North American Natural Resources ETF by Standard & Poor's, Standard & Poor's. You can do your information, your research from Morningstar.com. I would click on the link on the left here. Here we go. There's a little, now click on Morningstar.com, do it at your own leisure. But if you invested $10,000 back when the fund launched on December 15, 2015, your $10,000 would be worth over $28,000 today. The holdings for North American Natural Resources. Well, there's only 32 holdings, and 60% of the holdings are in the top 10. You've heard the first one here called Exxon Mobil Corporation. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, heard of Chevron. Let's go down to the 5th holding here. That's called DuPont Corporation. I believe they're a mining company. I don't worry about what they are. My financial advisor buys shares of this for me. I don't buy it. She does it for me. Down here, number 8 here on the list is Barrick Gold Corporation. Want to own gold? Yeah, well, I own gold too. It's a gold necklace. I own a gold ring. I don't really need much gold in my portfolio. There's a reason why. Again, not much gold is in the total stock market. But based upon North American Natural Resources, it's only made up of 3 sectors. There are 11 different sectors in the entire stock market. Consumer defense is only 5.2% of this fund. Energy is 44%. And basic materials is over 50%. Natural resource investments are comprised of commodities such as energy, chemicals, minerals, and forest products worldwide. If you're familiar with my previous videos, let me get the music off here. If you're familiar with my videos, North American natural resources interest is compounded. They're compounded semi-annually. That is twice per year. Present value is equal to the present value times 1 plus R over N raised to the power of N times T. Now, if you're just watching my videos, you need to go back and look at my first 4 videos before you watch this one. But if you want to just continue watching the video, please do this. So if you're not familiar with this formula, this is how to calculate compound interest. Present value is equal to initial principal times 1 plus R over N, number of times compounded per year, raised to a power of the multiple of N times T, or the product of N times T. T is number of times in years. Okay, let's go back to geometry. These videos are designed for anybody who wants to be an investor. You could be in middle school, you could be in high school. I do recommend you have geometry, or you're just starting geometry, because in geometry you do proofs. So you have proofs. They are your statements and your reasons. First statement is the compound interest formula. The reason is the formula. The present value is equal to your initial principal times 1 plus R over N raised to the power of N times T. The second statement is substitution. What do these letters stand for? They are variables. So presently, the value of North American natural resources is $28,087. The initial principal is $10,000. Multiplied by 1 all over R over 2, 2 is number of times compounded daily, raised to an exponent of 17. Where do I get a 17 from? Well, this company started, or this ETF started in December 2015. That's 8.5 years ago. So if you take 8.5 times 2, number of times compounded in a year, you get 17. If you don't understand how to do that, you better go back and how to do basic multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplication? The inverse. It's division. So we got to divide 28,000 by 10,000. And when you do that, you get 2.08072 equal to, let's say it again. 2.8087 equal to 1 plus R over 2 raised to the power of 17. And then we want to make this simpler, so we have to use what's called the natural log. We take the natural log of both sides of the equation here. And what we do is we use a calculator to figure out what's the natural log of 2.8087. So if you need to pause the video, do it right now and get your calculator. Once you have your calculator, hit the natural log of 2.8087. If you have an iPhone, use 2.8087, hit the natural log, and you'll see a decimal. I rounded to 5 decimal places. 5 decimal places is sufficient. That's equal to 17. Oh, how did 17 get down there? Well, an application of natural log is the 17, the exponent, now becomes a multiplier. So we put the 17 down here next to the natural log, and we don't actually multiply it. What we do is we take the inverse of multiplication, which is division, and we divide 1.03272 by 17, and we get a very small decimal of 0.060748, and that's equal to the natural log of 1 plus R over 2. All right, the next step is the natural exponent known as E. If you remember, this is the inverse of the natural log. So our decimal, 0.060748, becomes a exponent, or an exponent. Notice how it's a little bit more than 0. So when you take a number raised to a power of 0, you get 1. So if we take E raised to the power of a decimal a little bit more than 0, you get a little more than 1. So the E and the natural log will cancel each other out, and you simplify, So we get a decimal of 1.06263 is equal to 1 over 2, or 1 plus r over 2. And then you subtraction, property of equality, you subtract 1 from your decimal and get 0.06263 is equal to your rate divided by 2. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So then we multiply both sides by 2, and we get a rate of 0.12526. Then what you want to do is multiply by 100, changing your decimal to a percentage. And now we have the annual percentage rate of 12.53%. Is this legitimate? Is my math correct? Well, there's been a company that's been around for a long time called Schwab. Matter of fact, they took over TD Ameritrade a couple years ago. Look down here. Let me see if I can highlight this. Well, here we go. 12.5%. Just saw it. Right down here, the NAV, 12.5%. There it is. 12.53%. The only difference is they round to one decimal place. I round to 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the math's correct. Schwab's a good source to look at. So if you want to find the link to my information, click on this tab right here, and you'll find it. Always remember, past performance does not indicate future results. Invest wisely. And please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button. If you missed any of my episodes, you can go back to the first episode if you want to. Here's a link to get back to my first video on the Vanguard Total Index. Okay? Take care, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to me and watching me. And I'll see you again next month with another ETF. Peace.